Winston Churchill is one of the most beloved figures of the 20th century, voted the greatest Briton. Like every hero of Western civilization, you will be painted as a villain by crowds who idolize the likes of Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Idi Amin, and Saddam Hussein. Winston Churchill has been accused of being responsible for the Bengal Famine in 1943. That in fact it wasn't drought, but rather complete policy failure on his behalf. What they failed to mention is the invading Japanese, the cyclone, and the Bengal provincial government's role in this tragedy. Following the Japanese invasion of Burma, there was an added pressure on food supply. The risk in transporting supplies were increased, particularly in the Indian Ocean, due to the Japanese naval activity, meaning British supply ships would be sitting ducks if they attempted to cross. The Japanese were also striking Bengal, bombing its capital Calcutta, and patrolling its coast with submarines. They had significantly more firepower in the area than the British. Ineptness was clear among the Bengal provincial government led by Hussain Shahid Suhrawardy, who himself was responsible for the 1946 Calcutta killings, for which he is often referred to as the Butcher of Bengal. During the Bengal famine, his government failed to declare an emergency. You often hear that Churchill prioritised saving Europe over Bengal, but very little food was transported to Britain. Only 40,000 tonnes was transported to Ceylon. Every region faced massive cuts on importation. When Churchill's War Cabinet realised the severity of the situation, it was agreed that 150,000 tonnes of Iraqi barley and Australian wheat should be sent to Bengal, with Churchill insisting on the 24th of September that something must be done. Though stating that Indians are not the only people who are starving in this war, he agreed to send a further 250,000 tonnes to be shipped over the next 4 months. By January 1944, Bengal had received a total of 130,000 tonnes of barley from Iraq, 80,000 tonnes of wheat from Australia, and 10,000 from Canada, followed by a further 100,000 from Australia. Agricultural records prove crop shortfall due to plant diseases and a cyclone that affected the region. The evidence shows that Churchill believed, based on the information that he had, that there was no food shortage but rather a problem with the demand that was caused by local mismanagement of distribution. Madhusri Mukherjee confirmed this in a 2010 conversation with economist Amartya Sen, the world's foremost expert on famine in India and a Nobel Prize winner. Sen said that Mukherjee seemed satisfied with little information, that her data came from only 2 research centres, and those in only 2 out of 27 districts in Bengal. The analysis I made, countered Sen, using data from all districts, indicated that food availability in 1943 was significantly higher than in 1941 when there was no famine. There was a substantial shortfall compared with demand, which is expected in the war economy, but that is different from a shortfall of supply compared with supply in recent years. Churchill's role in the War Cabinet was one of broad oversight rather than detailed management. Therefore, he would have had very little influence on actual relief aid to Bengal, especially at the height of the war. Overall, blaming an event on a single man 5,000 miles away was an easy choice to cover up the mistakes made on the ground in Bengal, particularly in distribution. The Bengal provincial government was responsible for that, not Winston Churchill.